and now that I've given you forewarning, it is now your turn to come up and introduce our guest speakers for the evening. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brianna Gray.
Friends, family, and honored guests, today I have the very great pleasure of introducing our guest speakers. They were both raised in Sylvan Lake and are former graduates of H.J. Cody High School. Both went on to achieve success in their own way, one in law and the other in medicine. One of our speakers is Dr. Dina Hinshaw. Dina graduated from H.J. Cody High School in 1993 and moved on to graduate from Augustana University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Chemistry and Biology. In 2000, she spent time in Cuernavaca, Mexico, teaching English to locals. She has a medical degree from the University of Alberta, a master's degree in public health, and is a licensed family doctor currently finishing her community medicine residency in Edmonton. Our second speaker is her brother, Matthew Hinshaw. In 1995, Matthew also graduated from H.J. Cody. He has since graduated from the University of Lethbridge with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. He attended Bible College in Calgary and the University of Calgary Law School. From there, he articled with the Provincial Crown in Calgary and is now employed as a criminal crown prosecutor with the Provincial Court in Calgary. Both of these successful people are testimonies to the fact that individuals can accomplish many goals if they try, and also growing up in a small, close-knit community can produce the leaders of the future. Please welcome Dr. Dina Hinshaw and her brother, Matthew Hinshaw.
Thank you, Brianna, for that kind introduction. Good afternoon, class of 2008, staff of H.J. Cody, parents, siblings, relatives, friends, and guests. It is an honor and a privilege to be invited to share this important day with you. Today represents the culmination of many years of hard work and study and marks the end of a long and sometimes difficult journey. However, although you are now at the end of one journey, you have not reached the metaphorical end of the road. Now I'm going to assume that you all know what a metaphor is because I talked to Mrs. Berry and she said that you all paid complete attention in English class. So rather than the end of the road, you have reached a crossroads where you will be called upon to make choices about your future and about the future of the world that you will help to shape.
Now, Webster's dictionary defines a crossroads as a crucial point where a decision must be made. Now, after today, you're going to find yourselves facing many decisions. Those decisions are going to come as a consequence that after today's commencement is over, your lives are going to change. And that's something we'd like to take a little time to talk about today. Change. Consider how much has changed over the last 13 years. 13 years ago, September 1995, many of you found yourselves in kindergarten, experiencing the public education system for the very first time. Now, fittingly, as you've heard previously, that was the same year that I found myself sitting where you sit today, a member of the graduating class of H.J. Cody High School. Now, if you don't remember anything else that we say this afternoon, we want you to remember this one important thing. 13 years goes by really, really fast. Now, from where we're standing, many things about the school have changed in those 13 years. For example, the size of the graduating class. When I graduated, it was 38 members. I understand today there's 128. That's over 3 times as many.
The school itself has changed. What you now call the Stevenson Performing Arts Center, we called the small gym. The staff members of the school have changed. Many of the teachers who taught us have retired, or at least they said they were retiring.
And Dina and I have actually changed a lot as well. In high school, we both played on the senior basketball team.
Go Lakers! As a side note, we understand the H.J. Cody football team won provincials this year. Congratulations.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, back to basketball. Now, when Dina played basketball, she had a nickname. She was known as Hacksaw Hinshaw. That's a true story. Hacksaw Hinshaw. Honestly, that's a great name for a basketball player. Not such a great name for a doctor.
Speaking of nicknames, Matthew didn't have one while he was playing basketball. However, now that he has traded the basketball court for a court of law, his colleagues have a nickname for him. They call him Matthew Mad Dog Hinshaw. True story. Great name for a basketball player, even better name for a lawyer. Just as things have changed around the school, society has changed as well. When we graduated way back in the 90s, the only people who had their own cell phones were traveling salesmen and James Bond. In comparison, by a quick show of hands, how many of you own your own cell phone? How many of you are currently carrying your cell phone with you?
Yeah, are you all expecting a really important call?
How many of you have sent a text message during the graduation ceremony? How many of you have sent a text message during this speech?
Thank you so much for your undivided attention.
So as of November 2007, there were estimated to be 3.3 billion cell subscribers in the world, over half the world's population. By the year 2010, it is estimated that over 90% of the world's population will have at least access to cell phone coverage.
Now, just as things have changed drastically since 1995, today you too are encountering a major change in your own lives. For the past 13 years, your routine has been largely predictable. September, back to school. June, summer holidays. Wash, rinse, repeat. However, each year brought with it new challenges and new opportunities to learn and grow. Given that the forum was still largely the same, you knew you would return, as of the last few years, to HJ Cody. You would see many of the same faces, teachers, students.
But this fall it's going to be different. The majority of you will not be returning to HJ Cody. For the first time, you have choices. You will have options to explore and decisions to make. We encourage you to make the choice to challenge yourselves. Choose to dream big. Choose to grow. University, college, trade school, correspondence courses. The educational opportunities open to you are endless. In short, choose to keep learning.
Next, we challenge you to expand your horizons. It's a really big world out there, literally. We did some checking, and the Earth apparently is 40,070 kilometers in circumference. That's the equivalent of laying 648,381,877 iPods side to side. Honestly, that's a lot of iPods. Now, if you haven't had the opportunity to travel to other countries and experience other cultures, now is your chance. Sylvan Lake is a great town, and we will always be proud to claim it as our home. However, there are some things that you just can't experience down at the A&W. Look out at the horizon, imagine what might be beyond it, then go out and find out for yourselves.
Just keep in mind that it's important to be prepared for the unexpected. I found this out while on a high school trip to Europe, organized by Mrs. Smith and Miss White. We flew from Calgary to London and went to the theater on the first night of our trip. It was an exciting occasion, but unfortunately, when the lights went down and the music started, many of us succumbed to the fact that we had been awake for over 30 hours. When in Paris, the one day we had set aside to see the Louvre was, of course, the one day of the week it was closed. Then in Venice, the gondola ride we had all been looking forward to coincided with a torrential downpour. Despite these unexpected events, we all had fun, and we experienced the cliche that the journey is more important than the destination.
Now, and speaking of cliches, I have to say, personally, it's always bothered me how imprecise and kind of fuzzy they are. People will often give you advice in the form of a cliche, and it will be essentially so vague, it'll be totally useless. Now, for our next piece of advice that we're going to go to, I've taken it upon myself to put my extensive legal training to work to close up the loopholes in a common phrase. So remember, class of 2008, that oral consumption of a minimum of one pomaceous fruit of the tree species Malus domestica in any given 24-hour period is guaranteed to exclude the necessity of consultation with a medical professional. Some conditions may apply, often not valid in Quebec.
What he's trying to say is an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, and seriously, that's nothing but good news when your doctor's hacksaw Hinshaw.